Hui Mauli Ola proudly presents Leo Kupa, a Ho'olono Mai, a thought-provoking podcast on perpetuating Hawaiian healing and wellness. Brought to you by Mauli Ola Wednesdays and hosted by Kamaka Nui a Ha'ailono Jingao.
Na uma kuaya kahina kuaya kahina alo I kahikina I komohan na kupu na mahalo piha e ho mai kai kaman kyo mania uko mania mako mama wana e ho o mana Hello, my kako. Welcome to Leo Kupa from us at Hui Mauli Ola. The mission of Hui Mauli Ola is to perpetuate Hawaiian healing and wellness and to empower our people through healing. Once a month, we host Mauli Ola Wednesdays, where we bring in guest speakers and renowned practitioners to share their mana'o and ike kupuna about our traditional Hawaiian healing and wellness practices. Mauli Ola Wednesdays are free to the public and held every fourth Wednesdays at Papahana Kuaola, located on Oahu in the Ahupua'a of Heia in the ili of Waipau. Papahana Kuaola is a Malama ʻāina-based learning organization that is connecting the area's past with a sustainable future. Follow them at papahanakuaola.com. For more information about Mauli Ola Wednesdays, go to our website huimauliola.org. This year's Mauli Ola Wednesdays series is centered around the restoration of mana and maintaining pono. Our past two guests were Kapono Souza and his conversation on Ho'oma'ema'e and Lomi Lomi, and the Reverend Dr. Malcolm Naea Chan and the importance of pule. This month, on Wednesday, June 22nd, our guest, Puni Jackson, will be sharing the importance of ʻāina for restoring mana and maintaining pono. Puni Jackson was raised less than 5 miles from here at Ho'oulu ʻāina in Pu'unui, where her maternal grandparents were raised and where her family still resides. Today, she is an ʻāina activist, a la'o lapa'o practitioner, a native birth advocate, an artist, a wife, and a mother of 5. She lives here with her family in the back of Kalihi Valley in the ili of Maluawai. It's here in this 100-acre property through a project called Ho'oulu ʻāina. Puni works to increase mana for the lahui by building meaningful and transforming connections between people and ʻāina. Ho'oulu ʻāina creates welcoming opportunities for people of all cultures to engage in native forestry, community food production, and cultural perpetuation. Thank you, Puni. For the past decade here in Kalihi, Puni has witnessed transformation and healing in both the land and the people. Aloha, Puni.
Aloha.
Mahalo, Puni, for being here with us today. So mahalo for all the keiki. So you have a new addition here today.
We do. This is Makulu. He was just born. He's just a month old now, but he was born here at the property in Maluawai.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you for all your keikis being around too.
I know. It's got some photo bombing and a little bit of adjusting. Kalamai, I can scold my baby with just my eyeballs.
Wonderful, wonderful. So I know you were raised in this area over here. Tell us a little bit about.
I grew up just about 5 miles, less than 5 miles from here in Pu'unui, and my parents still live there, and my kids go there all the time, and so this area is super ma'a to me, and we've been living here in Maluawai in Kalihi for about 10 years now, just about 10 years.
Yeah, so growing up in this area, what about your upbringing kind of stood out, or some special moments in your upbringing?
I have to say I didn't grow up like full on in the lo'i, in the bush. You know, I grew up pretty suburban, normal Hawaiian. I went to Kamehameha, and culture was important for me. But in my ohana, what was important was aloha. Like that was the thing that is the most important. That my kupuna that raised me and my parents just really gave um, aloha to everybody. And it seems, because it's a commodified word nowadays, it seems like something that is sort of put on the side, or maybe people shame to talk about that. But for our family, it was really important that everybody was welcome, everybody um, was fed, and even if never have choked, then it was, everybody shared. And I feel like that set a way in my mind, a way of my mind, I say, the way that my mind thinks and the way that my heart loves is maybe a little bit different from ohana that didn't have that abundance of love and joy and support. And so I'm really, really blessed. I grew up very blessed in that way. And so I try to bring that kind of aloha to the work that we do here. Um, because as a lahui, we need healing. All of us need healing. And it's easy to come to sort of the deficit mindedness of no enough, or putting Hawaiian this, or we got all of this taken away. But in the end, we have each other, we have this ʻāina, we have our babies, we have the heritage of our kupuna, that we are overwhelmingly blessed. And so I hope to perpetuate that abundant mindedness that I was raised with. That even if you only get one cookie and 17 cousins, everybody gonna have a little bit. And so, to me, that's what perpetuates, in my work here, and in how I try to raise my own kids, um, and also what I try to create through our organization as sustainable careers, which I'm trying. It's not easy.
I think that's important to start off with, that abundance of aloha.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great. Was there a specific moment in time in your life where, that ʻāina piece came into mind, where you were...
Yeah. Well, growing up, we always went kahakai, and my dad, he liked to surf, and so we had connection, but it was sporadic until I moved here to this land, and really, it was falling in love with my husband. Um, his name is Casey, who he looks like, I guess. um, when you fall in love with a farmer, then all of a sudden the things that I understood. Well, when I fell in love with a farmer, then to me the things that I understood about my culture that were still just olelo started to make sense. And so, um, long before that, I had everybody has their lo'i experience. Mine was in Ka'ala Farms with Uncle Butch, and I had my heroes, like Uncle Eric. He's definitely a hero of mine. But it wasn't until living here on the property, and it was hard. It was hard, like really hard, like carrying with air compressor through the forest in the night with the rain, kind hard. And Kamika, you were there for some of those moments. And then I remember being so grateful. And there's a mo'olelo, kalui ko'olau, and Pi'ilani in that mo'olelo, she talks about how much she loves this grove of trees for protecting her family, or how much she is just grateful for this cave, this tiny little cave, for protecting her ohana. And I remember reading that and feeling like, wow, to love ʻāina that much, that you would, for pages on end, like mele styles, just really celebrate a grove of trees or this little ravine. I remember looking up in the dictionary, you sure that's a ravine she's talking about? And of course, she was talking about more than the ravine. But it wasn't till being here on this land and living hard and having to carry my own water and being so grateful for the trees, being so grateful for the stream, really all of a sudden feeling the wind different because I never have one hot shower at the end of that day, you know, because it changed my body, it changed my mind, it changed my heart to really understand what our kupuna were writing about in the mele. That yes, we love the ʻāina, but we love the ʻāina how we love our lover, you know, and how we love our babies. And I think that was the moment, you know, and it was a culmination of moments, but there's a particular night of standing in the stream in the rain, realizing, trying to get home, just carrying, you know, I don't know what I was carrying, probably too much. But I remember feeling like, oh, this is what it means to feel love for ʻāina. And that was, you know, 10 years ago. And so we've been here all this time. And it's been blessing after blessing, and trial after trial, you know. You just really enjoy the struggle. And for me, each day I look for something that is, I always say this, and I say this to my young ones too, proficiency emerging. That's what I'm looking for. And I know that you're focusing on the restoration of mana. So you cannot restore mana with politics, to me. You know, it's part of it. The ku and the lono season, there's a formula and a format that you can help to understand. But until the ʻāina is restored, our mana as a people cannot really be restored. And ironically, our mana is restored as we restore the mana of the ʻāina. That's how I understand it. That's how we try to live. And it's not easy, you know, and I just try to be patient, step by step. But I tell my young ones, I'm looking for proficiency emerging each day. You know, I don't know if you can hear it on the thing or see it, but one of our young ones just dropped a huge tree. Like, that was a big tree. And he came as an intern. He never know how to use a chainsaw. He didn't have any plant ID. And now I'm not even worried, you know. I'm not even worried. He's been here for, you know, I don't know how many, maybe 4 years now. And I know that he has skill, that he has reverence. I know he had pule before he dropped the tree. I guarantee he's wearing chaps. And so all of those pilina, you know, pilina to the ʻāina, pilina to his self and the future of his ohana, because I always tell the boys, the chaps, that's your genealogy you're protecting. But the safety and that knowledge, you know, that's proficiency emerging. And I know that this ʻāina, I'm 40, you know, and eventually I'm gonna hala or whatever, but I can only do as much as I can do in my life if I know that proficiency is building in each new generation, that the leadership capacity is there, that the reverence is there, that abundant mindedness is there. Then no matter what I do, the next generation is gonna be okay. But I'm notorious for having like absolutely unreasonable expectations too.
Good, you guys set those expectations. And I know you guys do a lot of work with the community over here, you know, and a lot of different cultures, you know, come over here and enjoy the abundance that Ho'oulu ʻāina has to offer. You mind sharing about some of that?
Yeah, we do lots of community work. We have community work days that are focused on Pacific Island style forestry, and then we have days that are more garden focused, and we have special days that, you know, groups kind of make a retreat day that they want to come and work. But everything we do, from construction, even the construction of this hale, to planting to harvesting. Everything is community-led, community-engaged. Everything has the mana of the whole community here. And the forestry format, when we first came here, even our forestry model was sort of based on this other this other model where you kind of go in and you spray poison and then you come back 4 years later. Or I don't know. I couldn't understand the model myself, actually. So we changed it for here that everything we do is community engaged. Even we go pull weeds together, everything. Because if we come in as the experts and we go fix the forest or we go plant the trees or whatever, and then the funding runs out or the generation passes or whatever it is, if the next generation or the community in general doesn't have that buy-in, then it doesn't perpetuate, it doesn't continue. And so it takes more time, and it takes a different level of, it takes different kinds of expectations. And so we mostly expect that people can work together well, and that we're listening to one another, that aloha is, leading. So, and everybody's welcome, no matter if you're from Mars, we're fine, And not every project is like that. I think some projects in the Lahui initiative right now are very Hawaiian focused, and it's not there's not room for a lot of other cultures. And I'm grateful that that is in existence, because here at Hoʻoulu ʻāina, that gives us the opportunity to welcome everybody, because we need the help of everybody to move forward. And we need those esoteric spaces and protocols and cultural experiences that is just for the Lahui. And so with that balance, I feel blessed that that this place can be a welcoming place for people of all cultures.
How can we know when you see somebody, or when their mana is maybe depleted or low, or when you look at somebody and their mana level is high, or
I didn't really think too much about this growing up, but my nana, my grandmother, was very, very intentional about that with me. I remember her, the first time we would read together, I guess I was about 8, and her theory, or what she taught, or what she encouraged me to think about, was related to ʻāina, even though it's not like we gardened together, we read together. But it was about reaping and sowing. It was about planting seeds and nurturing them. And like, you plant one seed, it's not going to grow right away. And nowadays we expect that, like, oh, I did this, so I expect a return right away. This is like drive-through relationships, yeah. But my nan always encouraged this more longer planting and growing. And so for me, mana is, I've been taught different theories or different, philosophies. So some people talk about how you acquire mana. You can steal mana from people. You can create. But my nan, she was really a ho'o mana kind of person. Really, very much about growing mana. So you feed, and then what is grown is shared. It's not just the individual person, And so maybe there are a different kind of people who it's your own mana is your own. But for me, whatever I grow belongs to all of my next ones. And not the hali cannot stand with only one pole, And so it's very much about what I'm doing to ho'o mana to grow. So when I give ho'okupu, when we give pule, we're growing collective mana. And the way that they indicate for me, when it's not good or it's not there, is when there's a disconnect. So if there's somebody who is disconnected, a family who is disconnected, even sometimes the entire lahui, we all focus on this one thing and we're not connected to all these other things. To me, the indication is disconnect. Oh, speaking of connect, I go nurse the baby, kalamai. But but the when oops, when we know, kalamai, when we know that we're connected to our family, it's just super weird that I'm gonna nurse at the thing. Kalamai. It's okay. We're talking about connection, family connections, and we're connected. Okay, she don't like this one. There we go. We're connected. But the disconnect right there, you know, when you don't feel comfortable, when you feel isolated, when the food that you're eating is not from the place that you live, or when you don't know your history, you don't know your family, when you have something in your ohana that make oki, like, oh, I don't talk to him because blah, blah, blah. That is when mana becomes depleted. And if we understand mana as our own individual pockets, our own individual bank accounts, then oh yeah, that's for him, whatever, he's disconnected. But actually it's all connected. We all connected. If you have a pirikia, that affects me, because you know, someday down the line one of your babies is going to be with one of my babies, and our will be co-ancestors. And so and probably way before that was the case too. So we're already connected, but we've forgotten how to live in a connected way. Okay, here we go. And that's what I look for. As many ways that we can build that connection between ʻāina and people, between people and people. I think that will increase our mana overall for the lahui.
Absolutely.
Oh, this feels better.
What would be characteristics or the practices of people in our culture who you consider excellent practitioners or role models in our community?
Well, I mean, I have my own role models, and they're here you go. Many of them are dead. My kupuna, many have passed, and when I think of the people who have been my own students, who have learned from me, I'm sometimes, you know, I'm coming into a certain maturity. Sometimes I'm so sad to know that, wow, I'm your only kumu you ever had, putting you. And I think of my own kumu and think, wow, how blessed I was to have known some of the most amazing kupuna who have taught, even if it was just a small time. And so the characteristics, when I look at those kupuna who have passed, and those characteristics that I try to, you know, I often fail, but I try to meet, that was generosity, not judgmental, to be extremely discerning, but never make anybody feel bad. That there's a sense of real patience and aloha. I've been so blessed with the patience of you know, there was this one uncle who taught me how to make net, you know, how to tie net, and he had Parkinson's disease. And at the time I was in my 20s, so I was like, wow, I'm super patient. I learned how to make net from a man with Parkinson's disease. And then I thought, when I got older, I'm like, wow, he was super patient. And so now, as you know, I have a lot of opportunity that I'm really blessed to be able to teach young ones who didn't have a chance to sit with that uncle, and his name was William Makailialu. And you know, my husband led the building of this hale, and he had the opportunity to sit with Uncle Eddie Ka'anana, and I also had that blessing. And the love and patience that was there, and the love for their kupuna was there. We try so hard to emulate that and perpetuate that. And to know, I mean, I guess it goes back to what my nana was trying to show me all those years, is that if you expect it to be done fast, or you expect it to be done right away, then you know, it's not gonna last long time. But if you invest long time, then it will grow a long time.
Wonderful. So to cap us off over here, you got any favorite Olelo Noel you want to share with us that some of our listeners can enjoy?
I do. I have lots of favorites. I have lots of favorites. But one keeps coming back to mind. It comes as you mentioned that, and that's Hepili Kua Hepili Alo. That's an Olelo Noea that I've loved for a long time, and it describes the relationship between a man and a woman. Hepili Kua Hepili Alo. And in my work, I was, when I was young, it was very romantic, and this is what a man should be, and this is what a woman should be. Yeah, you should be very strong, and I should be very soft. But I realized after so many years that that's everything. Everything has a kane and wahine side. Everything needs hard and soft. Everything, yeah, everything gives us a opportunity to, your kua. Like my son, his name is Ikua Lono. If you're cool, you're gonna carry what you can on your back, And at first I felt like, wow, you gotta be so strong to carry all this. But that's your kuleana, that's your blessings, that's all of the things that make you able to fulfill what our kupuna decided was your job. You get plenty job, baby. And then your alo is your front, and that's usually the role of the wahine to be the alo, that front, that softness. But it also, even what we do here on the ʻāina, there's what makes us strong, what moves us forward, and then the softness, that nurturing that helps us move forward. That's that welcoming, that everybody is welcome. I don't care if you're green. It doesn't, everybody is welcome. Everybody get one kuleana. We have kupuna that say, oh, I cannot live anymore. I cannot work anymore. I'm like, you can tell stories. You can sit in the tent. You can sit in the haligo tent stories. You can hold the baby. That would be really nice. So even the softness is welcome. Yeah.
Oh, mahalo. Well, mahalo anui once again to our guest tonight, Puni Jackson, for joining us on Leo Kupa. Come join her at Papahana Kuaola on Wednesday, June 22nd for Mauli Ola Wednesdays. Mahalo to all our listeners. If you like this podcast, please share the link on social media and rate it on iTunes so others can find it. And please subscribe to our mailing list at huimauliola.org, where you can get up-to-the-moment information on Hui Mauli Ola events, practitioners in your area, and Mauli Ola merchandise like Kialo, Kamahina, our Hawaiian moon calendar. Follow us on social media, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Hui Mauli Ola. Hui Mauli, MAULI, Ola.org. Mahalo. Kia kua mauna loa la I lalo ke kai, nā uma kua ia ka hina kua, ka hina alo, I kahi kina, kumohana. Nā kupuna, mahalo piha. E ho mai ka ike, ka ikaika, ka mana, ke ola. Mania o kou, mania mā kou, a ma ua noa, e ho o mana.